Hi fam, how are you? Here with my cafecito, having some UFO thoughts slash questions. Or should I say aliens? Or should I say UAPs? Or should I say extraterrestrial, interdimensionals? The list continues. Um, I was just lately in the last few weeks, I've been thinking a lot about like the soft disclosure that's been happening officially this year, where we have been listening to quote unquote whistleblowers telling their stories on their involvement in particular projects involving quote unquote alien or other life. And there's been some really interesting things that have come out of it, anything from even just some saying that there's life within the water. And so, what do you guys all think? What do you feel like for real? I mean, these conversations are happening worldwide. I'm referring to the conversations where governments are beginning to admit or release files with that there is a recognizing that there is life, and even to the point that there's been involvement. Makes you wonder how much involvement, you know? Personally, I feel that there's always been different species on this earth, within this earth, around this earth. I mean, you name it, it's like in dimensional ways and frequencies that we probably can't even really fathom. I also definitely feel that our governments have been working with some of these species. Sounds insane, but no, mi gente, real life. This is not like a sci-fi thriller or movies we've watched for decades and decades, which, by the way, was probably just, programming us for these days. Um, but I just feel like it's been interesting to see that it doesn't really get much reaction from folks. I think, at least outside of like the UFO communities. Like there's always been UFO communities worldwide that have always dedicated their whole lives to this types of phenomena and questions and explorations, to people that claim that they've been abducted. I mean, just you name it, they've been a part of projects, you name it, it's always been there. It's interesting also to note that there's a lot of countries that have a different take on extraterrestrial life. So I don't know if it's been like our conditioning to sort of belittle or make someone sound crazy or conspiracy like, which AKA is the same as making someone sound crazy or not. But it gets dismissed, I think, a little bit too much. What do you think it is? Is it because people are afraid of being labeled insane? Is it because we just can't believe that could even really exist? Is it that the implications of the potential implications of finding out just how much other life forms or species exist, and ones that maybe are also directly working with our governments, and to what levels, could even change the story of us? Like it has such a big spectrum, you know. It brings up even questions around technologies. What technologies exist that have been even hid from us that could have made or make life so much better? Like there's so many questions. One thing for sure is that in the last year-ish, when you start to hear it on mainstream media, all of a sudden it's just very second nature for them to talk about UFOs, aliens, whatever you want to call it. That's when I get a little suspect. And I definitely, no matter what your opinion is about it, will always proceed with caution whenever you hear it on mainstream anything. Because remember, that's how they control the form of information. And that is how they control the narrative that they want you to hopefully fall in line with, which we have seen in many capacities is incredibly effective. And even despite the fact that, mainstream platforms have really been outed as how fake they are, a lot of people and a lot of the masses still really watch these things. I mean, gente, I don't know where you land on this topic, how you feel about it, if you really have even bothered to explore it in your mind. But it's happening. And I feel that it's going to start to happen with a blend of both. You know, there may actually be real truths that are coming out, will continue to come out, have always come out for decades. And it's going to be now particularly blended with a lot of controlled narratives. And God even knows what else. Maybe even, you know, situations or AKA blue beam. Look it up, mi gente. None of these things are a lie. We are not living days where we could keep just moving along and just say it's conspiracy. It's not real. We're the only ones. We're not the only ones, fam. We're not. And to me, there's a curiosity and a real like, yikes. What's really hidden, you know? How deep does this go? How much control? I mean, are they the ones controlling our world all along? You know, there's just such a spectrum of questions and thoughts. So, yeah, I just wanted to know how you all feel about it. Where do you stand? Are you following these stories? Have you been following the disclosure? Do you feel that we're going to have a false flag event under that, you know, false disclosure? Or do you feel like we may be getting closer to real disclosure? Let me know what you think. Ciao.